Okay, I think we're recording. Go ahead and throw your name on here. This is our second to last set of notes for the semester. Today we are making two-way frequency tables. So, two-way is that we have both rows of something happening and columns of something happening. And then frequency is how often. So if I say I frequently stop at Sonic on the way home from school, that means it happens a lot. So we are looking at a frequency table and how frequent these two events happen in relation to each other. Well, as we are making these, here's things that you need to know. Each row and column on your table are going to total up to the totals on the right or the bottom. So all of the rows will total up to the right side, and all of the columns will total up to the bottom. The total of all of your rows has to be equal to the total of all of your columns, and that is going to be equal to the total of totals. I probably should have written grand total. The grand total in the bottom right-hand corner. So as we fill out these on our notes, you guys will see more of what we mean by that. But everything's totaling up. Okay. On some of your questions today, you are going to be asked to find percentages. I think this is the third time this unit we found percentages. For percentages, we do part divided by whole times 100, and we're going to round to the closest whole percentage again. Okay. Our first problem here, it says 200 people were asked if they preferred hot dogs or hamburgers, 80 were kids, 88 people preferred hot dogs, and 53 of those were kids. 53 of these were kids. So we have this blank table here, and we need to fill in everything we know, all of the information we're given, and we have to fill in all of the other stuff using like process of elimination. So the first thing we're told is that 200 people were asked if they prefer hot dogs or hamburgers. So that means our grand total of all of the people is 200. So that is going to go in the very bottom right-hand corner. Okay, then 80 were kids. So that means that the total number of kids we have is 80. So that can go in the middle on the right side. Next thing is that 88 people preferred hot dogs. So that is the total under hot dogs is going to be 88. And 53 of those were kids. So that means 53 of the people that preferred hot dogs were kids. So that is going to go in the hot dogs kids box right here. So get those four things filled in. On your notes, we are starting the tables completely blank. On your assignment, the first couple things will already be filled in for you, just because we didn't want to make it too challenging. So we'll have to fill that in on notes. On the assignment, you would be given it at this step. Any questions right now? Okay, so now we have to use process of elimination and addition and subtraction to fill in the rest of this table. So anytime we have all but one thing in the row or all but one thing in the column, we can fill out the other box using either addition or subtraction. So let's start over here. we know that there were 200 total people. We know that 80 of them were kids. So if there were 200 people and 80 of them were kids, we can do 200 minus 80. And the other 120 people were adults. Okay, and then we just keep going. You can do these kind of in a bunch of different orders because we could go fill in this or this now, or we could fill in this. Let's do this one. So we know that there were 88 people that chose hot dogs as their preference, and 53 of them were kids. So if 88 people chose hot dogs, subtract away the 53 that were kids, the other 35 people that chose hot dogs must have been kids. Okay, and then, so we now know everything about hot dogs, and we know how many total people we were. Now we got to figure out the hamburgers column. So we can take the 120 total adults, 35 of them chose hot dogs. So 120, I had to zoom out a little bit. 120 minus that 35 is 85 adults chose hamburgers. And then we can fill in the kids' hamburgers. So we had 80 kids, 53 of them chose hot dogs, so the rest must have chosen hamburgers, which is 27. And then I did it this way so that we would have an opportunity to add instead of subtracting. Because now, to figure out this box here, we could do this minus this, or we could add these together. So either way do we do it. If I add this 85 plus 27 together, that's the total number of people that chose hamburgers. It's 112. Okay, if you want to check these, here's how you can check them. 35 plus 53, oh, well, you got to type it in correctly. 35 plus 53 is 88, check. 85 plus 27 is 112, check. 120 plus 80 is 200, check. So I checked all my columns. Then I can check my rows too. 35 plus 85 is 120. 53 plus 27 is 80. 88 plus 112 is 200. So I checked all of my rows as well. So you can add down and add across to always check. Hey, any questions at the moment? Okay, now that we have our table filled out, we do have some questions that we are going to answer about our table. And these questions, you are going to have to read what it is asking and then find that in the table. So the first one is, which food did more kids prefer? So, how many kids chose hot dogs? What? 53. So 53 kids chose hot dogs. How many kids chose hamburgers? 27. So when we're asking which food did more kids prefer, we just want to look at the kids row, and it's 53 versus 27. So more kids chose hot dogs. Okay, the next question is, what percentage of people who prefer hot dogs were kids? So these you have to read really closely. So the first thing we need to know is how many people preferred hot dogs. So looking at our table, we want to find the hot dog total. That is 88. So that is going to go on the bottom of our fraction, is 88. And then we want to know what percentage of those were kids. So that'll be the top of our fraction. 53 of those 88 were kids. So 53 over 88. I left a blank for you guys to put your fraction, and then a blank for you to put your percentage. So that way you can have both. So 53 divided by 88. Then we multiply that by 100. It is 60.2. That does not round up. It just stays 60%. Okay. And then the last one, what percentage of adults prefer hamburgers? How many total adults were there? 120, so we gotta find the word adults and total. 120 total adults. And then how many of them chose hamburgers? 85 adults chose hamburgers. So 85 out of that 120. So then 85 divided by 120. I multiply that by 100. I get 70.8. So that rounds up to 71%. Okay. Any questions at the moment? Okay. We got one more on the back, and then we'll have the rest of class to work on our assignment. On the back, it says cars or trucks. 150 people were asked whether they prefer cars or trucks. So that is our grand total is 150. "75 country drivers were polled," so 75 of people who live in the country. So total of country is 75. 50 city drivers preferred cars. So cars city is 50. And then 85 total drivers preferred cars. So cars total is 85. Hey, again, on your assignment, that piece will already be done for you. On this one, I'm going to let you guys lead the charge. What is a box that we have enough information that we can fill in right now? The total of city drivers. How did you do that, Jessica? Okay, so we took 150 minus the 75. 150 minus 75 is the other 75. So we have 75 total city drivers. Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Somebody else, and I see you guys working, so I know some of us know what we're doing. What is another box of this table that we could fill in at this point? I see you all working ahead of me. So somebody, instead of pause, you're working ahead. What is another box that we could fill in at this point? Do we know enough information to fill in this box? Okay, how could we find what number goes here? Someone other than Jessica. 85 minus 50. So, cars total is 85. We subtract the 50. 85 minus 50 is 35. That would go here. Awesome. Thank you, Kyla. Okay, now we have this whole column. We have this whole column. We have enough info to fill in anything in this column. So we know the total, we know how many chose cars, so the rest of them must have chosen trucks. So, 75 minus 50, what's going to go here? 25, awesome. 75 minus 35, what's going to go here? 40. Okay. There are two ways that we could do this last box. What is one of the ways that we could find what number goes in this last box? Okay, 150 minus 85, I agree. What is the other way that we could find this last box? Add the 25 and the 40. Awesome. So 25 plus 40, I think that's easier, is 65. And then we can check, 85 plus 65 is 150. Hey, any questions at the moment? Hey, which vehicle type do more people prefer? How many people chose cars? 85. How many people chose trucks? 65. So which one do more people prefer? Cars. It's a simple comparison. You just got to use your info in your table. Okay, what percentage of people who prefer cars live in the country? So how many, you guys just told me 85 people prefer cars. I don't need to ask that again. So 85 total people prefer cars. 35 of them live in the country. So 35 divided by 85. Multiply that by 100. 41.1 stays 41%. Does not round up. Okay. And then my last question is, what percentage of country drivers prefer trucks? How many total people lived in the country? 75. How many of them chose trucks? 40. So 40 out of 75. 40 divided by 75. Multiply that by 100. 53.3 does not round up. It stays 53. Okay, any questions at the moment for the good of the cause? I am going to stop this recording then.